you? Hey, this is Bad Habit, right?
Yes.
Bad Habit all the way from Tilburg in
All the way
Tilburg
from
City.
Tilburg. Yes, yes.
Right. Let's come in, guys. So this is the flat where I'm living here in Tilburg. Nice. You never been at the Ringbound Oost? Never been at the Ringbound Oost? Very famous street here in Tilburg.
Nice, very nice.
Okay, let's go into my house and on my couch. Welcome by Live on the Couch, live here from Tilburg, the Netherlands. We are here with Bad Habit, a local, for us local, for you Americans not so local, but a local heavy metal band here from Tilburg from the 80s. And we're gonna digging in the past, like bringing up some old memories about this great heavy metal band who are active here in the 80s and 90s. Well, guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And first of all, please introduce Bad Habit to the viewers in America.
Okay, I'm Marcel. I'm the bass player. I'm one of the original members. Next to me is
Bob. I was the lead guitar player, also one of the original members.
And I'm Johan. I played the drums in Bad Habit.
From day one till
From start to finish.
okay, cool. So guys, Bad Habit began in the early 80s, almost 4 decades ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? There is still a market for traditional heavy metal Dutch steel, so they call it in the USA, and that the music is still living and selling, and that some Americans were so excited to get your release done in the USA.
yeah. We were pleasantly surprised that after so many years, there's so much interest. First from Headbangers Records, and after that from Big Records. Very nice.
Yeah, and I am Marco from Headbangers Records. I did the first release. I'm gonna show you guys, because this is something I can show you. This is the first release we did. And yeah, maybe Rob can show it. Maybe you can hold it still. Yeah.
Yeah, hold it still.
Otherwise the people cannot see it. Yeah, this is
Buy now, cry later.
that's for sure. And
Nice.
yeah, this one was done by me, by Headbangers Records. And later on, our friend David from Seattle, the USA, he did a reissue of it. Yeah. So, and this is the album For the Future from 1994, right?
This was our first album, our first release.
This is not released by me or by Big Records. This was done by the band itself, right?
Yep.
In '94.
So guys, the name Bad Habit, it conjures with cocaine, loose woman. How was it? Were you guys so wild, and was the scene so wild, and that you were like dealing with those topics, or that you choose such name, or was it another reason?
I think we were a bit more wild than now.
Mm-hmm.
We were much younger.
Yeah.
And the first band name we used was Stormbringer, but we thought it was too much a fantasy name. So then we thought we must have a bit tougher name. So we decided on Bad Habit. But we were never into cocaine or stuff like that. We were always more into booze and smoke. And we thought, Bad Habit is a nice name. So
I was very shy. I was
Extremely shy.
yeah.
that's long gone now.
Okay,
So
cool.
we decided on Bad Habit and we stuck with it.
Okay, till the end.
Yep.
So guys, you had the honor to work with Oscar Holleman, one of the most famous producers here in Europe. How did you hook up with him, and what was it like to work with this guy? Because he's very legendary, right, here in the Netherlands and the rest of Europe.
Well, before Oscar became a famous and professional producer and musician, he worked with our first single Will at the same company. And at the time, I think it was in 1978, we wanted to record our first demo called Come Together. And Will asked him to help us. At the time, Oscar didn't have his own studio, so we booked one. And as I said, he helped with the production and the sound, and we get along real fine. So after that, we kept in touch, and he helped us with other demos, and he recorded our first CD, one we brought out in 1949.
94.
94.
Oh yeah.
And another small correction, our first demo is not from 78, it's from 87.
Oh yeah.
I already discovered that.
And Oscar helped us a lot, and I think we were the first band he ever produced. And later on he became famous not only in Holland but also in Europe and worldwide, because he also produced Cresip and Within Temptation, and he produced Gorefest. So it was an honor for us that he produced our first demos and helped us out along the way.
Guys, the godfather of the grunge, Jack Endino, known for Soundgarden and Nirvana, he mastered your new record, your old songs but new record in the US press, US release. And well, it's not a small name, Jack Endino, man. How are you happy with the result he did? Are you honored that you could work with a name who was very famous in the Seattle music scene back in the 90s and 80s, I think? What do you think?
I was very surprised, very surprised. Jack Endino is a real big name, and yeah, it's a big honor.
David brought us in contact with Jack, and because our demos are from the late 80s and early 90s, and they were from tapes, so they had all a little bit different sound.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question about the skills Jack Endino has, so we were very happy that he mastered all those tapes and balanced them out, so that the demos on the big release are more balanced and more nice to listen to, because he did a great job with the mastering, so we're very happy.
Yeah, very happy.
So most of today's hard rock fans, actually, do we still use the name hard rockers these days? It's an old school term, right?
No.
They have no idea who Bad Habit is and was. Even some old timers have no clue. You were really locally here in the Dutch area, Tilburg area, but you played some really great shows here back in the day. It was surprising, the names where you have played with. How can you tell us about those days, and how was it, and which bands you supported back in the day?
We supported a lot of big bands like Saxon, Manowar, Annihilator, Deep Purple, Rainbow Saxon. It was a very good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Glenn Hughes.
Glenn Hughes, twice.
Glenn Hughes twice.
Motorpsycho.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you had a lot of luck and a lot of connections back in the days to have such a great support slots, right?
And we were a bit more fanatic.
Fanatic.
So we worked hard to get those shows. So
There's some jealousy around that you get all the great slots.
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
But that was no problem for us.
No, I can imagine.
It was not. It was not our problem.
No, it was their problem.
It was their problem.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but really great names over the years.
Yeah.
So you guys opened for a lot of great bands over the years in the 80s and 90s. Could you share some memories, some special memories you had with supporting those big names?
Yeah, I remember while going on stage, I need to pee.
Yeah.
But I can't find the toilet. Yeah, it was the partake from Annihilator.
Yes.
Yeah. And so yeah, I need a big pee, and yeah, I see the dressing room from Annihilator. And so yeah, I go to the shower and I pissed
In the shower?
In the shower, yeah.
Want Jeff Waters
Before I go on stage, and then later I thought, oh wow, that's the dressing room from Annihilator.
He didn't know it was a dressing room at
No.
at that moment because
At that moment, no.
they were out for dinner. But later on, the guys were back in the dressing room.
With warm feet.
Did Jeff knows this? Maybe
I doubt it. But he will find Rob now if he sees this interview. So.
yeah. He comes sometimes in Tilburg,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he will find your address.
Always welcome.
Coffee is warm.
Yeah.
Coffee is hot. At Rob van Gestel's place. Cool. Well, is there more special memories you have?
Well, I remember when supporting Deep Purple in Belgium, that I had the dinner and the backstage area while looking at Deep Purple playing on stage. A special moment.
Deep Purple had our own kitchen and catering with them,
Oh, yeah.
so
Okay.
we were invited to use their catering and their dinner. So we had menus and everything. So it was for us it was a big thing.
Very
Cold
nice.
pizza was not good enough.
No.
Sorry.
And I remember when we did Manowar, when we
Yeah.
did support
Oh, wow.
for Manowar, they had a meet and greet. At first they did the sound check, and Joey DeMaio did his sound check standing in the front of house
Mhm.
at the mixing desk, and he was playing Wagner very loud, and everybody was supposed to stand behind him because it was too loud to stand close to the PA. So that was the thing I remember, how loud that was, and that he didn't play an instrument. He did a sound check of the PA with Wagner. And later, after that sound check, they had a meet and greet with the fans, and before they went to the fans, they did push-ups.
Yeah.
So they
For muscles.
for the muscles
Yeah.
showing off. So we thought it was funny. But the
You never did it. That habit never did push up.
No,
Only
We didn't need that.
Uh, the thing that made the most impression on me was meeting my all-time hero Ritchie Blackmore.
Oh, wow.
When we played support for Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. We met, a couple of us met Blackmore, and that was, well, for me it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because as a kid I had the posters above my bed and then meeting the guy, so that was, yeah.
Wow. Some cool memories.
Yeah, and also meeting Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes was funny. When we played support for Glenn Hughes, and after the show we asked if he wanted to go on a picture with the whole band, and he just cut off his hair, so he hardly had any hair anymore, and I think he was a bit in doubt if he wanted to go on a picture with us, so he kept his towel over his head when he went on the picture with us. So it's a very funny picture.
And that was a big thing in the 80s when you cut your hair as a rocker, huh?
Yeah, but Glenn Hughes was in the 90s.
Okay.
But it was fun. We had great memories, and the first support we did was with Saxon in the late 80s, and I remember Marcel and I had been to a concert of Judas Priest with Saxon as support, and a couple of years later we met Biff of Saxon and shook his hand, and that was the first big star we met where we played support for. So that was also a big thing wow, one day you're looking at Saxon, buying a ticket and looking at the show, and a couple of years later you're playing support. So great memories.
Saxon is one of the bands who played so many times here in Tilburg, right?
Yep, and still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the evolution of metal got changed over the years. It was first we call it all hard rockers. We already say the term hard rockers. We were all hard rockers or punkers. There was nothing else in between. There was a hard rocker and a punker. And later on, all the subgenres, thrash, speed metal, whatever.
New
came.
wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah, that's also But you know about this old term, hard rock, and you were considered as a hard rock heavy metal band back in those days.
We call ourselves a heavy rock band.
A heavy rock band, okay. How do you see this evolution? Because you were active in the late 80s, early 90s, a time where death metal, thrash metal really came up, especially here in the Netherlands. And you were sticking to the old school hard rock heavy metal. How did you saw that evolution coming up, and how was it back in those days?
Well, we all grew up in the 70s with bands like Deep Purple and Cage, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, you name them. And afterwards, what Rob already mentioned, the new wave of British heavy metal with Iron Maiden and Saxon, Priest. And that were the bands we liked, and that's what's of the genre we started in.
Yeah.
And afterwards, the speed and the thrash bands came up, but well, we hadn't the intention to jump on any bandwagon, so we stick to our guns. So
yeah, and that's why you released this album in '94. That's maybe this was you still looked hard rock, and you still sounded like hard rock. Was it hard to continue? With the band in those days, because it seems the scene was really changing in that time, right?
The problem then was we were too much rock instead of metal.
Yeah.
And because of all the speed and thrash metal which we didn't do, it was hard to get gigs. Because we weren't the flavor of the month anymore. But like Marcel said, we stayed through to what we liked. We didn't jump to the thrash metal or the speed metal. So it was harder to get gigs.
Yeah.
But we kept on going, and we did our CD ourselves. And we still got some great gigs in that time. So we did our own thing. We always did our own thing.
Yeah. Because heavy metal and hard rock never really died.
I think it's now popular than the days before.
Yeah, all the bands who are coming up, like Judas Priest and Saxon, all comes here to Tilburg and to everywhere around the world. Yeah, you work with those bands, so you see them, they're coming up and they're still bringing full venues these days. So more than 4 decades ago, and you after the whole the activity in the lifespan of the band, Bad Habit, you start working as a roadie, start working with bands here, touring bands. Can you tell me a little bit more about your job, what you have done over the years?
Our first gig, our first Bad Habit gig was in 1984, and our farewell gig was in 1997. And from then I did a couple of years with Rob. We played in a punk rock band, Polyester Pimps. And when that stopped, I noticed that I enjoyed being on stage and around the stage, and the whole vibe of live gigs. I enjoyed it a lot. So when I stopped playing drums in bands, I started as a stagehand here at the local venue, the 013 venue.
Noorderlicht was already done?
Was already done.
Okay.
We played in Noorderlicht. We played as a band in Noorderlicht, but when I stopped playing in bands, 013 just opened.
Yeah.
And from 013 I was asked fairly quick by a big guy in Holland if I wanted to do freelance jobs for bigger concerts. So 25 years ago I started working freelance as crew or as crew chief for the Grass Pop Metal Festival in Belgium.
A very big festival.
A very big festival, and I worked on the main stage for more than 20 years already. But I also worked for last summer I worked for Metallica, I worked for the Rolling Stones, I worked for Queen, I worked for Pearl Jam, I've worked for Kiss a couple of times.
Wow.
A lot of those bands I worked for Paul McCartney, AC/DC.
You mentioned the whole, big category, big list.
Yes, and the bands I work the most for are probably Motorhead, Slayer, Within Temptation, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Probably around 15 times, 20 times the last 20 years or something like that. And I still do that. I still enjoy that. So.
Yeah.
It keeps me busy.
Yeah, you could also told me a story like a band. I was never so much into it, but you worked last year also for Tool, right?
Tool, yeah.
And they had you told me the impressive story about the couple of vans they took with that they have. Yeah, you told me a lot of big stories about this.
Oh, Marco is always impressed when he hears that some bands use 20 trucks or 45 trucks.
Yeah.
When you work for Roger Waters, he has 45 trailers full of equipment, and it's crazy, but it's fun. It's a big show.
Wow.
And I enjoy it. I still enjoy it.
And you guys, Marcel and Rob, have you also been? Are you also still active in the music business?
After Polyester Pimps, which I did with Johan, the punk rock band, I quit.
Totally quit?
Totally quit. And 10 years later, I did work on a music school.
Yeah.
And I saw people playing guitar, and I thought, I buy a new guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm in a cover band called Heads Up cover band.
Oh, nice. So you're still.
But it's regular music like Tina Turner and
it's more pop.
Bon Jovi, it's more pop.
Okay.
My pop rock.
It's not heavy metal or hard rock.
No,
it's
but it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Stay active. And what about you, Marcel?
I played a few cover bands. I played with a band called 64/7 for a few years. We made one demo with that band. And now I'm playing with Van Hel.
Van Hel, met Hedwig Van Hel, who was in Emergency, right?
Yeah.
A lot of bands, sort of well farm, but I think Emergency is for a lot of people the most known where he played for, right?
Yes.
So a big band at that time.
Yeah, it was with Peter Lovell, right?
Yeah, great band.
Yeah, more like melodic rock from...
Vengeance also. Vengeance was the number one. Vengeance.
Yeah, here in Tilburg,
yeah.
Here in Tilburg.
No, I think in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think they're Vandenberg and
Vandenberg, yeah.
But anyway...
but Van Hel, we just produced our first CD, and it's on Spotify.
Okay. And have you already a lot of listeners?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. So I'm curious. I will check it out today. So Bad Habit, after this new release in the USA, is there some shows coming up, some reunions, maybe some world tour, maybe a North America tour or whatever? What are there some plans for you guys to have a little bit to get your on hold status or split up status back on active again?
Well, never say never, but we had a band reunion with the members anyway, not to play music, and it was a lot of fun. Everyone is still alive and healthy. And,
that's a good thing.
Well, we didn't make any plans, but yeah, you never know what's coming next.
It's a long time ago, huh?
Yeah. But you all are able to play your instruments, still play your instruments.
Yeah, I don't think everyone is still playing, but
With some practicing, you come in the hole. you will make it.
yeah,
If you really want.
a few of us are still in bands, and the rest is still playing at home.
I haven't played drums in 24 years.
Not at all.
No, I did
Okay.
a couple of sound checks, but I never played the song anymore.
So you're the less active in this way.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Very busy with other things.
Yes,
but,
other things, but not playing in a band or not
Okay.
playing
You
drums.
still have the kit in your home?
I sold half of it.
Oh, you
I still got the other half.
Okay.
Half bekken.
Yeah,
Half symbol.
half a chair.
Yeah,
But I still got them in the attic.
wow.
So you never know. You never know, but
Time will tell.
yes, time will tell. When you get 50 on your birthday.
That would be an honor. But maybe we're all dead at that time.
You never
Yeah,
know.
you never know.
You never know.
But we stay positive, huh? We stay positive. Yeah.
Positive attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, seize the day, huh?
Yeah. Wow, 50. You already we already passed 40 years, so
Yes, but we
So
started when we were 4.
before. Okay.
No, we were 4 years old when we
So
started.
you're younger than me then.
Yeah, you can see that.
So we're coming to an end. But are there any parting thoughts? And is there anything you would like to add to this interview to the viewers worldwide? I think.
But for me was a real good time. Great time. A lot of photos, CD, great gigs. I don't want to miss it for gold.
Any shaking boobs?
Shaking boobs, yes.
You are referring to also to the sound check of Manowar.
Yeah.
We were, what I said before, we were surprised with the loudness of their sound check, and there were some girls standing around and they said, "It's so loud, my boobs are shaking." So we thought that's very funny.
Yeah, it is very funny,
Yeah,
and it's very piggy.
I didn't see it. I said, wait.
Anyway, so you have to ask that to shake again.
Yeah.
No, please shake again. So that's a very funny story, Johan.
Yeah, one of many. We want to thank you for the interview. We want to thank you for the hospitality, and it was fun to.
Yeah. You want some Dutch cheese?
Thank you for your hospitality, Marco. Where's your shower? Because I need a pee.
Shower? Rob always. So never invite Rob from Holland in your house because he always piss in the shower.
Bye.
Bye.